संकीर्तन यागी की जय, भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिवप्रभुपाद की जय, इसको गुरु वृंद की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. All glories to the Assembled Devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Something happened to all the brahmacharis, disappearance past time. None of them are here. I've noticed they don't.
It's a new parampara.
Huh?
You're starting a new parampara.
Is it what they say that those who live near the train station always late for the train, and those who live on the banks of the Ganga, they take shower at home. So we'll continue with the Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 8, Chapter 12, Mohini Murti, Bewildered Lord Shiva, text 8 today, but we'll speak on the subject of Prabhupada's arrival. Actually, we should read the translation. Maybe someone who has English as the first language, maybe Janaki Raj Prabhu can read the translation for us.
My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul, but I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me.
But I guess you have some business here. Otherwise, why would you bring me to this terrible place?
Most of the population here is covered by the material modes of ignorance and path, absorbed in material life. They think themselves very happy and satisfied, and therefore they have no taste for the transcendental message of Vasudeva. I do not know how they will be able to understand it.
But I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible because you are the most expert mystic.
How will they understand the mellows of devotional service? O Lord, I am simply praying for your mercy so that I will be able to convince them about your message.
All living entities have become under the control of the illusory energy by your will, and therefore, if you like, by your will, they can also be released from the clutches of illusion.
I wish that you may deliver them. Therefore, if you so desire their deliverance, then only will they be able to understand your message.
The words of Srimad Bhagavatam are your incarnation, and every sober person repeatedly receives it with submissive oral reception. Then he will be able to understand your message.
It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam 1:17-21. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, Supersoul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regularly hearing the Bhagavatam and rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is practically destroyed, and loving service unto the glorious Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. At the time loving service is established in the heart, the modes of passion, rajas, and ignorance, tamas, and less than desire, karma, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness, and he becomes happy. Thus established in the mode of goodness, the man rejuvenated by loving service to the Lord gains liberation from material association, mukti, and comes to know scientifically of the personality of Godhead. Thus the knots of the heart and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruit of actions, karma, is terminated when one sees the self as master.
You will become liberated from the influence of the modes of ignorance and passion, and thus all inauspicious things accumulated in the core of the heart will disappear.
How will I make them understand this message of Krishna consciousness? I am very unfortunate, unqualified, and the most fallen. Therefore I am seeking your benediction, so that I can convince them, for I am powerless to do so on my own.
Somehow or other, O Lord, you have brought me here to speak about you. Now, my Lord, it's up to you to make me a success or failure, as you like.
O spiritual master of the world, I can simply repeat your message, so if you like, you can make my power of speaking suitable for their understanding.
Only by your causeless mercy will my words become pure. I am sure that when this transcendental message penetrates the hearts, they will certainly feel gladdened and thus become liberated from all unhappy conditions of life.
O Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hands. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance. O Lord, make me dance as you like.
I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhakti Vedanta, and now if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhakti Vedanta.
Saint, the most unfortunate, insignificant beggar, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami on board the ship Jaladuta, Commonwealth Pier, Boston, Massachusetts, USA, dated 18th of September 1965. So Prabhupada ki jai. Mama Gyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shokaya Chakshuranitam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadam Mayam Darati Swapadantikam Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavepyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Prema Prabhu Yamakshadeya Muslim Paganan Sadasa Sadasa Mukavan Prasishta Bhagavan Macham Sene Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
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 Ekastvam eva sadasad vayam advayam cha
Ekastvam eva sadasad vayam advayam cha
I think that there is a different melody. Ekastvam eva sadasad vayam advayam cha
Ekastvam eva sadasad vayam cha
Svarnam Krita Kritam Ivehana Vastu Veda
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 Ajnanatastvai janarvihito vikalpo
Ajnanatastvai janarvihito vikalpo
Ajnanatastvai janarvihito vikalpo
Ajnanatastvai janarvihito vikalpo
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Ekastvameva sadasat dvayamadvayam cha Svarnam krita kritam vivehana vastu veda
Svarnam krita kritam vivehana vastu veda
Ajnanatastvai janarvihito vikalpo
Ajnanatastvai janarvihito vikalpo
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Ekastvameva sadasad vayam advayam cha
Ekastvameva sadasad vayam advayam cha
Svarnam Krita Kritam Ivehana Vastu Veda
Svarnam Krita Kritam Ivehana Vastu Veda
Ajnanatastvai janarvihito vikalpo
Ajnanatastvai janarvihito vikalpo
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Ekastvam eva sat asadvayam advayam cha
Ekastvam eva sat asadvayam advayam cha
Svarnam krita kritam ivehana vastu veda
Svarnam krita kritam ivehana vastu veda
Ajnanatastvai janarvihito vikalpo
Ajnanatastvai janarvihito vikalpo
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Ladies, please.
Ekastvam eva sat asadvayam advayam cha
Ekastvam eva sat asadvayam advayam cha
Svarnam krita kritam ivehana vastu veda
Svarnam krita kritam ivehana vastu veda
Ajnanatastvai janarvihito vikalpo
Ajnanatastvai janarvihito vikalpo
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Ekastvameva sadasadvayam advayam cha
Ekastvameva sadasadvayam advayam cha
Svarnam krita kritam ehina अज्ञानतस्त्वजनेर्विहितो विकल्पो यस्मद्गुणायति करो निरूपाधिकस्य
एकास्त्वम् एव सद् असद् द्वयम् अद्वयम् च स्वर्णं कृता कृतम् इवेह न वास्तु वेदा अज्ञातस्त्वयि जनै विहितो विकल्पो यस्मात् गुणा व्याधिकरो निरूपाधिकस्य
Ekaha, the only one. Tvam, your lordship. Eva, indeed. Sat, which is existing, as the effect. Asat, which is non-existent, as the cause. Dvayam, both of them. Advayam, without duality. Cha, and. Svarnam, gold. Krita, manufactured into different forms. Akritam, the original source of gold. The gold mine. Iva, like. Iha, in this world. Na, not. Vastubeda, difference in the substance. Ajnanataha, only because of ignorance. Svai, unto you. Janai, by the general mass of people. Vihitaha, it should be done. Vikalpaha, differentiation. Yasmat, because of. Gunavyatikara, free from the differences created by the material modes of nature. Nirupadikasya, without any material designation. So this is Lord Shiva's glorification of the Supreme Lord. Continues here in this verse. Translation purport by Bhakti Rasayana Swami, My dear Lord, your Lordship alone is the cause and the effect. Therefore, although you appear to be two, you are the Absolute One. As there is no difference between the gold of a golden ornament and the gold in a mine, there is no difference between cause and effect. Both of them are the same. Only because of ignorance do people concoct differences and dualities. You are free from material contamination, and since the entire cosmos is caused by you and cannot exist without you, it is an effect of your transcendental qualities. Thus the conception of Brahman is true, and the world cannot, and the world false cannot be maintained. It's a little confusing.
No, Brahman Satyam.
Oh yeah. Thus the conception that Brahman is true and the world, I guess the world should be is false, right? Is false. Yeah, the world is false, cannot be maintained. Or the world false. This is what how you say the world false, or the world.
No, the world is false.
Okay. Okay. Is missing. Okay. So, Srila Prabhupada's purport is 3.5 pages long. So, I guess we'll be stopping at certain points, and of course discussions will will be around Srila Prabhupada's arrival to the United States. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the living entities are representations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's marginal potency, whereas the various bodies accepted by the living entities are products of the material energy. Thus, the body is considered material and the soul is considered spiritual. The origin of them both, however, is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the Lord explains in Bhagavad Gita 7, 4 and 5. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kam mano bhuta evacha ahankara iti ame bina prakritirastada apariyamtirastvanyam prakritim vidime param jivabhutam mahabaho yedam darete jagat. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. Altogether, these 8 comprise my separated material energies. But besides this inferior nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mind, which consists of all living entities who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe. Thus, both matter and the living entities are manifestations of energy of the Supreme Lord. Since the energy and the energetic are not different, and since the material and marginal energies are both energies of the Supreme Energetic, the Supreme Lord, ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is everything. In this regard, the example may be given of gold that has not been molded and gold that has been molded into various ornaments. A gold earring and the gold in the mine are different only as cause and effect. Otherwise, they are the same. The Vedanta Sutra describes that Brahman is the cause of everything. Janmadhyasya. Everything is born of the Supreme Brahman, from which everything emanates as different energies. None of these energies, therefore, should be considered false. The Mayavadi's differentiation between Brahman and Maya is only due to ignorance. Srimad Bira Raghavacharya in his Bhagavata Chandra Chandrika describes the Vaishnava philosophy as follows. The cosmic manifestation is described as Sat and Asat, as Chit and Achit. Matter is Achit and the living force is Chit, but their origin is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in whom there is no difference between matter and spirit. According to this conception, the cosmic manifestation consisting of both matter and spirit is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Idam hi Vishvam Bhagavan Ivetara. The cosmic manifestation is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although it appears different from Him. In Bhagavad Gita 9.4, the Lord says, again quoting the same verse like yesterday, it's perfect. Maya tatamadam sarvam jagata vyaktamutina mastani sarabhutani nachaham teshu asthita. By me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Thus, although someone may say that the Supreme Person is different from the cosmic manifestation, actually he is not. The Lord says, Maya tatamidam sarvam, in my impersonal feature, I am spread throughout the world. Therefore, this world is not different from Him. The difference is a difference in names. For example, whether we speak of gold earrings, gold bangles, or gold necklaces, ultimately they are all gold. In a similar way, all the different manifestations of matter and spirit are ultimately one in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ekam eva advitiyam Brahma. This is the Vedic version, Chandogya Upanishad 6-1. There is oneness because everything emanates from the Supreme Brahman. The example already given is that there is no difference between a golden earring and the gold mine as it is. The Vaisheshika philosophers, however, because of their Mayavad conception, create differences. They say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, the absolute truth is real and the cosmic manifestation is false. But why should the Jagat be considered mithya? The Jagat is an emanation from Brahman, therefore the Jagat is also truth. So yeah. This is what Srila Prabhupada presented. Spiritual science, right? That Krishna consciousness is not another religion, and that's really important for us to understand, because if it would be another religion, why the Supreme Lord himself in the end of Bhagavad Gita would say, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. So it is the fundamental principle which is the root of all religious traditions, and it's a spiritual science. And in this world there is a lot of duality in religious conceptions, and the main duality is that some religions, they propagate karma and others propagate jnana. Those who propagate karma, like I'm sure you have plenty of those in Australia as well, like in America it's very popular. They're called prosperity preachers, and their motto is, you need money, you need to enjoy life, right? And just ask God and He will provide you with everything you want, right? And enjoy. That's it, right? God is provider, so just pray to God and enjoy life. And the other group, which is less popular, they belong to jnana category. They, like Mayavadis, they preach this artificial renunciation, right? And there are groups who manage to combine both somehow. It's very interesting. I've been to one personal development course, and it was very interesting, very expensive, even though I didn't pay, because they allow clergy to take it for free, so I took the advantage. And they use very interesting, you can say, technology to help people to solve some of their problems, but then they were saying that now we will tell you the ultimate truth. And everyone was like really excited. What's the ultimate truth? And then the man said, the ultimate truth is that this world is empty, this life is empty and meaningless. But if you realize that, you can ascribe the meaning to it you want. So basically, if you realize that there is nothing in this world which has any meaning, you can put your meaning to it. Right? So basically, clear your previous karma, right, by renunciation, and then enjoy to your full extent. It's like the elephant bathing, right? That clean yourself and then put dirt all over your body. So there are groups like that. They manage to combine both jnana and karma, right? They enjoy with karma, but then they clear the effects with jnana, but then they again go and enjoy like that. Or like Prabhupada would give an example that a young man who is very promiscuous, or young man, young woman, and gets venereal disease, and the cure for venereal disease is very, very painful, very long and painful. So it's like an austerity, right? And so, but then after they purify themselves, they again go for the same thing, because the desire is still in the heart, right? Like that. So material world is like that, karma and jnana, or combination of both. And so in the religious field, it's also very, very prominent. So this is what's explained, but Vaishnava understanding is right in the middle. It's neither karma nor jnana, it's karma yoga and jnana yoga. Right? And this is what supports bhakti yoga. Karma yoga means, yes, prosperity, bring it on, but not for me, for Krishna, right? Like Prabhupada said, all the money of the world should be given to me only, because I'm the only one who knows how to use it. He never said no to money, he never said no to wealth. He was very happy when it was coming, because everything belongs to Krishna and so should be used for him. So Vaishnavas are not like Mayavadis, they running away from wealth, running away from fame, running away from high position. They take it and they use it for Krishna. Right? They act in this world as in the same way as karmis act, striving for ambitious results, but they renounce the results in the same way as jnanis, but not just renounce brainlessly, but renounce in Krishna's favor. They give it to Krishna. Right? And so this is the ideal balance. And for themselves, as Prabhupada says, we are happy just with bare minimum to maintain soul in the body, right? To keep the body and soul together. So, and of course Prabhupada showed a perfect example of that. How to gain everything for Krishna and for himself. Just be happy with minimum. So, Vaishnavas therefore do not consider the Jagat to be mithya, rather they regard everything as reality in connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anasaktasya vishayan yatharam upayunjita nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastuna mumukshupi parityago vairagyam phalgu kathaye. Things should be accepted for the Lord's service and not for one's personal self-gratification. This is what we are discussing, right? If one accepts something without attachment and accepts it because it's related to Krishna, one's renunciation is called yuktam vairagyam. Whatever is favorable for the rendering of service to the Lord should be accepted and should not be rejected as a material thing. The Jagat should not be rejected as mithya. It's truth, and the truth is realized when everything is engaged in the service of the Lord. A flower accepted for one's sanctification is material, but when the same flower is offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by a devotee, it is spiritual. And then you can enjoy it after it's offered. No problem. Food taken and cooked for oneself is material, but food cooked for the Supreme Lord is spiritual prasada. This is a question of realization. Actually, everything is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore everything is spiritual. But those who are not advanced in proper knowledge make distinctions because of the interactions of the three modes of material nature. In this regard, Srila Jiva Goswami said that although the sun is the only light, the sunshine which is exhibited in 7 colors, and darkness which is the absence of sunshine, are not different from the sun. For without the existence of the sun, such differentiations cannot exist. There may be varied nomenclature because of different conditions, but they are all the sun. The Puranas therefore say, Ekadesha Sthitasyagne Jatsna Vistarini Yatha Parasya Brahmana Shaktis Tathedam Akhilam Jagat. Just as the illumination of a fire which is situated in one place is spread all over, the energies of the Supreme Personality of God, Para-Brahman, are spread all over the universe. Materially, we can directly perceive the sunshine spreading itself according to different names and activities, but ultimately the sun is one. Similarly, Sarvam, Khal, Idam, Brahma. Everything is an expansion of the Supreme Brahman. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is everything, and He is the one without differentiation. There is no existence separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Prabhupada ki jai. So, those of you who have watched the Hare Krishna movie, the mantra, the Swami, and the Swami who started it all, right? You must remember this episode when Srila Prabhupada said, I wanted to start one revolution. Right? So Prabhupada had this revolutionary spirit, and that actually helped him to survive through so many hardships, coming on this steamship for over a month on the ship. I would die probably, and I'm much younger than Srila Prabhupada, having 2 heart attacks and all. So, but because his spirit was so powerful, like a spiritual warrior, he survived. And as we know, Krishna helped him to survive these hardships. Yes, because he really believed in what Krishna and the whole parampara says, right? Tadvad visarga janataka viplavo, that the words coming from the Supreme Lord, they can create viplavo, real revolution in the lives of Janataka, that in the lives of sinful lives of materialistic people. And so he came with the Bhagavatam, and he started preaching this message, and this is what's required, right? Because there is like constant clash between religionists and materialists, right? Between karmis and gyanis, right? And so Prabhupada came with the message of Bhakti to balance it out. And we know that this is what the world needs. And that's why, as we were mentioning, that the first purpose of ISKCON is unity and peace in the world. And if Bhakti is properly applied, then it is not very hard actually. It takes little time, but it's not very hard to achieve real unity and peace in the world. I think it's really important for us to learn from Srila Prabhupada, from Srila Prabhupada's example. First of all, why did he go to United States? And you may ask how this is connected to the verse on purpose, right? Well, it is directly connected because Lord Shiva explained that the whole world is the property of the Supreme Lord, and it should be, everything should be engaged in the Lord's service, right? And this is what Srila Prabhupada wanted to do. He wanted the whole world to become Krishna conscious. And this was the instruction of his spiritual master. And the first question which we should be asking ourselves is, why did Srila Prabhupada chose such a hard path to go to America? Natural kind of move would be to go to England, right? It's much closer, and it's already kind of traversed path. His godbrothers, they haven't achieved much success, but something was there. There was already like one lady initiated even, right, by Gaudiya Math. Some preaching was done. Some people in London were already kind of familiar with Bhakti tradition. But America was completely uncharted territory, right? And it's far, and it's like he had to start from scratch, and he didn't even have anything, so it's like defies all logic. Why did he chose such a hard option? And of course, when Srila Prabhupada was asked about it, he was joking. He said, so many of my godbrothers failed in UK, so I was thinking, if I will fail, let me at least fail in a new place. But we know quite well that it's not that easy, that Prabhupada had very, very clear plan. Why did he go to America? Why not England? Janaka Raj Prabhu would be asking this question, why he didn't come to England first, right?
Must have been a mistake.
Wrong ticket. I'm pretty sure that Skindia company was making journeys to UK. It has to be checked, but anyway. But I'm pretty sure America was not the only destination. Somehow he chose America. Why? Or even if we don't know for sure how that happened, but anyway, even if he didn't choose, then Krishna chose it for him, right? Why America? Because already at the time, America was the leading power on the planet. And so Prabhupada knew, if I want the whole planet, and I want the whole planet, it's very clear from the first purpose of ISKCON, because, and it's connected to thinking big, we spoke yesterday, right? If I want the whole planet, I need to go to the place which controls the whole planet. And so, yeah, he risked his life to go to America, of all the places. And another very interesting thing, that just imagine that he struggled so hard in India and nearly died going to America, and hardly he achieved any tangible success before, right? And then he arrives to the Butler, Pennsylvania, and of course he's shocked, as we hear from Markine Bhagavata Dharma, with the reality he's, you know, all the meat advertising and all kinds of nightmare things. You know, it was really, for him, it was like coming to hell. Welcome to hell, Swamiji. After Vrindavan, of all the places, you know, after Vrindavan to come to America, of the mid-60s. And then he was brought to this home of Agarwals, and he had to face this wonderful American culture. And Bhaktivedanta Maharaj is joking. He says that Americans are very pragmatic people, very practical people. They learn from the mistakes of others. And so they looked at the Europe, and Europe has very interesting history. It started with barbaric level, right? Barbarians. And then there was a Renaissance, and it kind of became cultured for a while. And then it degraded, right? And America looked at the Europe, and they were thinking, why do we have to do the, detour? If our goal is to get degraded, let's go from barbarians into degradation straight ahead, right? And this is what they did, Wild West. It was Wild West, and it is Wild West still. Just a little bit more polished. And so, and Prabhupada had to face that. People walking in their boots outside and using their boots inside, and sitting and putting their legs with the boots on a dining table, and sleeping in with their boots on. That's America for you, right? And at the time, smoking was at the peak. Everybody was smoking like anything. And in the house, outside of the house, everybody. I'm not sure if Gopal Agarwal was smoking, but Sally Agarwal definitely did, as well as so many of her friends, and they were kind of intrigued. You can just imagine, like he has to maintain his standards, and then people walking with their boots on into his room, and with a lit cigarette in their mouth, and they say, Swamiji, we want to ask you a question. Can we talk to you? He said, yes, sure. Don't you mind that we're smoking? What Srila Prabhupada was saying? Think nothing of it. And like sitting in that stinky smoke, talking to those people, and having to keep his products in the fridge which was filled with meat. So, like he underwent so many hardships in India, nearly died, and now in America he has to face all this. How much tolerance? It's unbelievable. And then I guess, Paramatma in the hearts of this Agarwals told them that, it's like Swamiji's standards are very different from ours, so let's give him a little bit separate facility. So they rented a room for him, right, in YMCA hostel. So I can only imagine how much relief Prabhupada felt. God, out of that hell, real hell, like I call the cigarettes hellish incense sticks. So, and then things started picking up for him. He started getting, because he was like a big news butler, little sleepy town in middle of nowhere, and real Indian Swami arrives there. So he became a talk of the town, and he started getting invitations, speaking arrangements, reporters started taking interviews from him, and even in the churches he would give his classes, right? So he would have more and more engagements. And so after all this, finally, success, he was becoming kind of a star of the butler. If you think about it, that's it. What else did he want that he finally achieved? In America, he is preaching Krishna consciousness and people take a lot of interest. And what he does next? He drops it all, discards it, as if nothing happened, and goes where? To New York, where he knows absolutely nobody, and where he continues struggling like anything, even worse than before. Is it not amazing? And then actually you can see that in New York he tried so hard to position himself in Manhattan. He didn't go to Bronx, he didn't go to Brooklyn or Queens, Manhattan, right? And Manhattan is most expensive place, but he found an option. He found Bowery, and Bowery is kind of the, cheap and very degraded place in Manhattan, so he positioned himself in Bowery, affordable, but he wanted to be in Manhattan, right? And then as soon as he got the opportunity, moved on to the Second Avenue. And why did he do that? Because he wanted to be as close to the United Nations headquarters. And he writes about it in a letter. He said, we've got a center which is very, very close to United Nations headquarters because we wanted to work with the United Nations. And because first purpose of ISKCON, the whole world, right? And which organization is connecting the entire world? United Nations. And so Prabhupada had a strategy. We'll use United Nations systems to, spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And he tried that. But it didn't work out so well. If you read Prabhupada Lilamrita, he was invited for an engagement there, and the International Day of Peace, I think it's September 21st, and he came there with his disciples, and because the idea was that they will pray for the world's peace together with other groups. And what is the devotees' prayer? They came with kirtan. But then organizers said, excuse me, that if everyone will start praying loudly in their tradition, what will it look like? So that's why we have a standard that everyone's prayer has to be silent. And Prabhupada complies. He says, no problem. He stops kirtan, tells his disciples to stop kirtan, and tells everyone, take japa beads and do very quiet japa together. So they sit and they all chant japa. And the organizer becomes so impressed. He said, wow, it's amazing. We have to work together on other programs as well. And so Prabhupada invites him to the 26th 2nd Avenue for a lunch to discuss plans, how to work together. And at the time he has only one dedicated disciple, Kirtanananda, and others are pretty much like guests or congregational. And then he and Kirtanananda, they cook the feast, and there was one bhakta, can't remember his name, Steve or something, and Prabhupada tells him, and he was a little strange. Everybody knew that, but there was nobody else. And Prabhupada tells him, we're expecting some very, very important guest from United Nations, and he should be coming at this particular time. So as soon as he arrives, let me know. But if anyone else comes before, I'm not available, okay? Because we're waiting for this VIP, we're cooking for him, so everyone else should come at other time. And so he leaves that bhakta downstairs waiting for the guest. And funny enough, this man is so excited to meet Srila Prabhupada, he comes early. Like, I don't know, maybe half an hour early or something. And then that bhakta, he said that Swamiji is not available. And the man says, but I have an appointment with the Swamiji. And this bhakta says, I don't know about your appointment, but Swamiji told me not to let anyone in because they wait for very important personality. And the man says, I am that important person, Prabhupada. He's waiting. And this bhakta says, no, the appointment is for this particular time, so I cannot let you in. And man says, okay, I'll wait. And he's waiting and waiting and waiting. And he says, could you please, at least tell Swamiji that I'm already here? And he said, no, Swamiji haven't instructed me about this. He only instructed me not to let anyone in. So you have to wait. And the man is waiting and waiting. And Prabhupada's waiting to be informed, right? And he's busy cooking upstairs. And this Bhakti is just sitting with his guest and not letting him in. And asking him a few times, could you please tell about me that I'm here? And he ignores him. And so Prabhupada's waiting upstairs, the man's waiting downstairs, this Bhakti is in a standstill. And then this man grows impatient and becomes irritated, and finally he becomes angry because he's a big man, right? And he's treated like nobody. So he gets offended. And he says, this is not the way to, deal with people. And he turns around and leaves. And funny enough, just at the time Prabhupada comes down, this bhakta, with stone face, completely, without any emotions, looks at Prabhupada, and Prabhupada says, what about our guest? And Bhakti keeps quiet. Did anyone come? He said, yeah, one man came. He was very annoying. He was very proud. He was demanding that he should be let in. But I thought I did as you instructed. How this man looked, this is how he looked. And Prabhupada became angry. He said, this is the man we were waiting for. Why didn't you do that? And such, but it was late, too late. So, we don't know the whole history, what happened. But Prabhupada had very strong, burning desire to work with leaders, with important people. But then I suppose he figured out with the kind of followers he had in the early days, it's gonna be the, what do you call it, fiasco, right? So I suppose he just accepted whatever Krishna sent. But this was his initial, original desire, both in India and in here, right? This is what he was striving for. And my simple conclusion is that the times have changed very significantly. I actually asked one time one of our gurus and sannyasis that why is it happening so that sometimes mentally unstable people take interest in Krishna consciousness? You know, crazy people. How come that crazy people become attracted to Krishna consciousness, want to become devotees? And this sannyasi was laughing so much. He said, "You're only asking this question because you didn't join the movement in the early days. In the early days, we were asking ourselves, how come that sometimes sane people come to Krishna consciousness? Because there were so many crazy people. I don't know if Janaki Raj Prabhu had the experience also, right?
Oh, definitely.
Where did you join? In London. Same thing?
Oh, most certainly.
Many crazy people?
Yeah. I can tell you stories, but...
Yeah, horror stories. So yeah, I mean, Prabhupada had whom he had, and luckily he also had disciples like Janaki Raj Prabhu and few other
crazy people.
No. Sure, you come from completely different category. That's why you stayed through and continued with all the services. And so yeah, we have very few special souls who joined Srila Prabhupada, and they helped him through all the troublesome times. But yeah, majority of the followers were very difficult to deal with, and I mean, yeah, some of the stories I know are mind-blowing. I can imagine that I don't even know the whole, everything what was happening. So, but now the situation definitely changed, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So we have a lot of normal people, good people, professional people, smart people, cultured people in the movement. Of course, many are belonging to Indian community, coming from Indian community, and luckily, Krishna's mercy that Indian community has a lot of cultured people. And so I would say that now we have all the opportunities to do what Srila Prabhupada really wanted to do and what he came to America for. That he didn't really sacrifice his life as he did, and he actually did, because he left this world at the age of 83, right? Or 82. How old was he? 82 or 83. Anyway, 96, 77, 82. So it's really young for a person like Srila Prabhupada, because we can see that many of his godbrothers, like Puri Maharaj and others, they have lived past 100, right? Because, just never done one simple activity in one's life, healthy lifestyle, really good karma in that sense, Krishna's blessing. So, but why Srila Prabhupada left so early? Simple. 14 round the world after the age of 70. So much hardships he had to undergo through, both on this ship and in America, and so much pressure and so many letdowns. It's like, it's unbelievable. Sometimes I think that probably because Krishna knew that he will have to go through all this craziness, which is unbearable, he gave him Bengali body. And Bengali body, I've observed, is like Bengalis. They're like indestructible. They can take any amount of hardships and don't even care about, and not even care so much about it, right? They have super strong physical body and super strong subtle body as well. And so I think this was special arrangement for Srila Prabhupada, that he had this, super powerful Bengali body to be able to tolerate it, but it took a toll. And actually this is what he told to Abhiram Prabhu, who was his final nurse. He said, I've actually cut the duration of my life down by taking so many hardships. At least by 10 years. I would live at least 10 years longer if I wouldn't have to sacrifice my sleep and, so many things. And so many crazy, obstacles, like his own disciples trying to move him out of his ISKCON. But at one point it became so hard for him. He said, I can leave ISKCON, let them do whatever they want. I'll just start something else. I'll just start from scratch. Like that. So. But he basically sacrificed his life, but if we think that he sacrificed his life just to add one more religious denomination to the thousands already existing ones, it's a wrong conclusion. Srila Prabhupada didn't come for that. And so it's really important, I think, on this day for us to meditate what Srila Prabhupada came for, and if we think, and if we feel a little bit of a gratitude for Srila Prabhupada, what he have done for all of us, maybe we could also think, what could we do to help Srila Prabhupada to achieve his first purpose he was so much interested in. Right? So. Yes.
I think it's worth mentioning that Srila Prabhupada said that he didn't want crazy people in the movement.
Yeah.
It wasn't like...
I guess it was his soul's cry, right?
It wasn't like an institution of, 50% crazy people, but they certainly... So.
Yeah. And one crazy man can create more havoc than 100 normal people, right? Yeah. But it's funny that one devotee in America, he took Hare Krishna mantra for his doctorate research in psychiatry, and he proved that Hare Krishna mantra is really good for mental health. It's like powerful medicine.
They attached, I don't know what it is, some machine that registers brain activity to a devotee chanting japa, and they discovered it.
Oh yeah, I heard that one, yeah.
The result was really just found it extremely relaxed.
Yeah. So many amazing things. We have a lot of advantages. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Premanande.